a lace blouse, a beaded bag, beaded mittens, beaded top, that's probably this on the front. There's a lace scarf, a flapper dress, a beaded purse, open work gloves, sailor collar blouse, a zigzag bag. So tons of different things. And I know for a fact I've not knit anything out of this book yet. But they're very pretty garments. But obviously I would, because as I said, it's not my style, I wouldn't wear it, so I'm not going to knit it. But there are some really pretty, see if is that glaring too much? No, there you go. You know, with the details and that. But I'm trying to think, there should be something else. Here's the, one of the camisoles. There should be at least one thing in a book that I want to knit, or that I should knit. Otherwise, what is the point in this book sitting on my shelf, you know, other than, I don't know, it's kind of like a collection. I like collecting knitting books. Even if I was to just make the little hearts as a gift for myself, fill them with lavender, at least I'm still knitting something out of this. Let's see. So, lace edged camisole, and I guess this just got the stockings on as well. So again, not something I would knit. If anything, I would seriously think about knitting that one. I really do like it. I'd have to give this some thought. And I would also, let me just flick through now. I'd also, what was I going to say? I have to try to knit something from these books that I have in stash. I'm not going on a yarn diet or anything, but I would like to try and use yarn that's been in my stash for the past few years since I got into podcasting and that I've bought, and just, they're the oldest things I've got, and I've not knit with them yet. A lot of it is fingering weight and from indie dyers, that kind of thing. Now this is something I probably would wear, but not in a more hairy, alpaca-y kind of yarn, I don't know. But I do like that construction. It's a little bolero, as I call it. They call it a lace shrug. And there again, there's the exact sweater on the front. And that's lace, so I'd have to really, make sure I got the gauge right on that. Actually, they do, the purse that they're talking about beaded is matching the gloves and the sweater. It's a bit overkill, I wouldn't have all three. Although she does have it in her hand, I did just notice, she's got the purse there as well. So this what I was talking about on the back is a lace blouse, so it is lace weight yarn, which I do have in stash. The back, as you can see here, is just with a little, it's plain with a little tie, so that's that would give it a nice fit. So many things that we want to knit that is just, we just don't have enough time. There's a close-up of the lace on that little sweater, and then there's gloves, which she's wearing, which again, I wouldn't wear. And look at the old post box, the English post boxes next to, amongst the ivy and the stuff. That's nice. Sailor collar blouse. This is something I definitely wouldn't wear. It's not my style. So that was the book that I would consider knitting these. These are the open work gloves. So this is something that's sat on my shelf for a few years and I've not really done anything. This is the flapper dress. I wouldn't, that's a lot of knitting, but I wouldn't, again, it's not something I would wear, so I would never knit it. So But yeah, so that's a hand knit romance. If your library's got a lot of, look at the sun's coming through there now. If your library's got a lot of knitted books like mine, search their catalogue, and if it's not there, then put a hold on it if you want it. Have a look at it. It's a lot cheaper than just getting it and then realising you don't want it. There's nothing you would knit. Which is what I'm going to try and do from now on before I actually buy knitting books. I haven't bought a knitting book in a long time. Now this is something I probably would wear. This is a Happer dress. I like this one. It's really nice. Again, lots of knitting for one garment, and it would have to turn out the right size because there's no way I'd wear that if it was really fitted. And there's the back of it. So that is a hand knit romance. The other book, where did I just put it? Here it is. I got this out to the library and I've had it out before, and there was a couple of, I haven't bought this, and again, if I did put it on my shelf, it is Woodland Knits. If I did buy it and put it on my shelf, chances are I wouldn't knit anything from it for quite a while. Although I do love the hat, so that's something cute and I would knit. And I love those little gloves with the butterflies inside. I think that's just adorable. So that is another thing I would consider knitting. Should I, you know, if I did buy it. Or, I mean, I can still knit them because I can take them, get it out of the library. And the other reason I got this out of the library is because I love these little cuffs, and that's something I would consider as well. Something I could consider knitting as a gift for somebody. This sweater is adorable, but I just think that's just too big a project for me right now. But I love that it's a hood and it's got the bear ears on it. And what I like about this book, I like that the pages are all covered. Try and see, there's bright sunshine that side and in the shade that side, but they're all coloured. You know, this is green and it's got little, even the white pages have got the little detail around. Things like that, just, I don't know, it just makes it enjoyable to flip through and read. And this is something my yarn store had this in, and I'd love to knit this at one time too, but to be honest, I think that's adorable, so cute. I'd have to use, lighting's terrible, I would have to use acrylic yarn or superwash, maybe superwash wool I'd get away with. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to put it around my neck if it was alpaca or, you know, even the just 100% wool. There's a different colour one. So, these are the things inside this book that I would consider knitting, and that's why I would like it on my shelf, or as I said, the option is there just to get it out of the library when I want. So these are the gloves with the butterflies in the palms, or the fingerless mitts, which I just think is super cute. Another couple of pictures. Other things that I wouldn't bother knitting are, well, there's that big sweater. There's a seat, there's a purse. This big hood on the back, even though it looks super cozy, that it just, if I'd knit that, I would have thought it came out too big for me, and I would have been like, oh, got the gauge completely wrong. That just looks huge, doesn't it? But it's probably super cozy. There's leg warmers. They look nice and cozy too. And there's little things like a crown, which is a cute little pattern. You know, if you've got little princesses and little girls that would wear them and play with them, you can do different colours. So anyway, that is Woodland Knits, and that's the back. And I just realised, I thought that was just a plant, a picture of a plant, but that's knitted. I think it's like an arm warmer. And we'll move to the side a bit so that the sun's coming through that big arch window now, and I don't have blinds up at these windows. It's just even if I did, it's coming through the arch bit, which you can't cover. So, moving on, what else did I say I was going to talk about? Oh, I don't have it with me, but I'm thinking of reading A Christmas Carol again this year. Now, if you, I was going to say if you're a fan of the show, if you've watched me before in previous years, you might have read along with me. I think a couple of years I started reading A Christmas Carol in December. I haven't done it for the past year, or I don't even know if I did it the year before that. But I'm thinking of doing that, and I usually like to start, I'm sorry, I'm kicking this. I usually kind of just start December 1st and read it through December, or I might just say, I think I'll start next week, which is the day after Thanksgiving. I can't believe it's Thanksgiving next Thursday, the 24th of November. It's crazy. I can't believe we're nearly into December. People's got their Christmas lights up when I drove out to the neighbourhood last night. But anyway, not complaining. That'll give me things to chat about in the coming weeks, you know, the run up to Christmas, which we've always had fun with. So other than that, moving to other crafts. I tried a new craft this past week or so. Excuse me, I'm going to reach back over here and grab this bag, which is filled with all sorts right now. Normally I'll time this where it's in the morning and the light's not this bad. I love this. This is a Vera Bradley bag that I bought not long back in the outlets here. I never pay full price, but I thought this was super cute. This is the little cupcake pattern that Susan Sherlock, why won't the names come to me? Susan Claudino pattern that she designed for me when I did the little Brit kits with the cupcakes on. I hung that there and it was adorable. But quickly, because I don't know if this is going to end up super long by the time I've stopped and started, and it might be getting too long. Oh look, I'm finding labels for things. That's the label for the sweater I did. So I will need to put them somewhere. So recently I decided I wanted to try, I've always wanted to do this, and have a go at dyeing yarn. And I did, and I've liked it. So these were just a few, I split the skein, it's just fingering weight, to try different colours. This came out really well, just purples, solid colour, but there's 3 colours in it. This was the first one I did, which has turned out very muted, soft tones. I might try that again and make the colours deeper. I was trying to go for a sandy colour and a sea spray green reminiscent of the beach, and then I was going with a soft blushy pink reminiscent of the candy floss at the beach, cotton candy. But it's not quite, didn't turn out quite what I had in mind, even though it's pretty. But that's something to try again. And then I tried some other colours, which was grey, aqua blue and a yellow, and then of course you get it blending into showing you the greens, and it, you know, totally washed out there. There you go, that's a nice clear colour. And it's completely different there when the light's not shining on, but that's quite true to colour too, so that's pretty. And after I tried those, I tried a full size skein of worsted weight yarn, and this was my first attempt at dyeing a full skein. And I think I'm going to, because I don't even know what these knit up like, so I'm trying to show you the colours once it's unravelled, and there's purples and pinks in it, and then the yellow which blends into orange. I don't know what's going to knit up like. So I think I'm going to cake that up and maybe just be able to show you it next week. I'm going to cake that up, and I think I'm going to find a pattern for some winter mittens or hat that I can, you know, experiment with and try it out. So that is what I'm working on, and it was super fun. And of course I want to try all kinds of different colour combinations now. So that's the other craft I finally got into. I've wanted to do that for years, and I've just never found the time. I did, back looking at books, I did get this out of the library as well. And it's a spiral bound, so it's good to, you know, lie flat when you're looking, and it'll tell you, you know, some of the basics. To be honest, I haven't even read through this. I've been doing stuff online, but gives you, this is where I've watched online anyway. This is the basics of how you do some of the colours. And then of course you've got the solid colours that just go into a whole bath itself, which is a bit like this. You'll immerse it all. Sometimes you can do all of it, but that's keeping some of it out the pot. So again, if you have a library that's quite large and it might have it in, go check it out. And you can, you know, you can do it in a slow cooker. Look at that, which I haven't tried yet, and I would need to go get another slow cooker slow cooker, just a, you know, second-hand one or a cheap one. So that is everything that I had written down, and then moving into, and I'm not going to take too long with this, we'll move into girly chatter. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I will just give you maybe a quick catch up of what we call it, life in the den, because this is my knitting den. Right now it's in the living room. It's been known to be on the porch, and other than the wind today, it's probably warm enough out there to sit on the porch, which is unheard of in Colorado for middle of November, but it seriously has been that warm. And in fact, I think we're in the 70s again today, but after tomorrow we're hitting the 50s, which I'm looking forward to be honest. Come on, it's nearly the end of November. I want some chilly days. We haven't even had a bit of snow yet, except for a few flakes when I got back home in the beginning of October. So this is really catch up for those that I guess know me, have watched the podcast quite a while. And again, look at the sunshine. I know even before the beginning of this year, I'd kind of, you know, not been podcasting on a regular basis, got out of the habit of it, and then because of, you know, things going on in my life, and then after Christmas, the beginning of this year, for those that didn't know, I went home I went home earlier this year. It was back in February, and my mum passed away at the beginning of March, and that was a sad enough time on top of everything else that I was, you know, going through. And then it just kind of got worse and worse. Like, hubby broke his leg, and again, I'm filling in bits for those that have not you know, not tuned in before and didn't know. So hubby broke his leg, which was a severe break below his knee. It was a complete break, and he had to have surgery. He'd gone out riding on what they call a dirt bike, which is, you know, not pedal bike, it's a motorcycle, but you ride it through trails, forests and all that. He'd come off that bike, had to have surgery, had to have pins in, couldn't put weight on his foot, as many of you all know this, for 3 months. So that was in May. Not long after that, a few weeks after that, hubby's, my father-in-law, he passed away, and he was only early 60s. And unfortunately, hubby couldn't even walk or get on a plane, couldn't put any weight on, was on a lot of pain medication for this severe break. So he couldn't get to Texas to, you know, attend his dad's funeral. And then a few weeks after that, my husband, his dad, my father-in-law's mother, husband, hubby's nan, she passed away. So things had just gone, I mean, you know, we deal with this all the time. We lose loved ones, and I just never lost so many loved ones in such a short period of time. So that kind of, things like that just was stopping me from getting back into what I loved most, which was sitting down with you guys. Not because, oh, I didn't want to share sad news with you or anything like that. It was just me mentally, emotionally, I didn't feel like doing it. And as we've all said, you know, don't podcast if you don't want to. It's not like I'm committed to this because, you know, I'm not selling something to you where you're expecting it. I do it because I want to and I like it. And you watch if you want to because you like it. So with all of that said, that was what was kind of crazy this year. What was wonderful this year was after the trip home in February and March, I'd spent 4 weeks there, you know, with my mom and my family. I did go back again in September, middle of September, for another 3-week trip. My daughter, Kristen, didn't come with me this year. Because this time. I had taken her the previous year, 2015, in the July when my mum was well, and we had 3 weeks then, as a lot of you, you know, I did share that when I was podcasting at the time. The trip home in September was wonderful, and we did a lot of the things I'd done with Kristen, but with a little bit less stress, because my daughter Kristen wasn't feeling well quite a few of the days when we would go out sightseeing, and we went to London and to York and things like that. So I did all of that again with my sister and her family, and like I said, there was no stress because I didn't have a child to look after. Not that she was a child, but I didn't have anyone to worry about. It was just me, and so I enjoyed every minute of it. So other than that, we've now got the holidays coming up, which is, like I said, crazy. Last month I am, and I probably I'm another year older as well. I had my birthday middle of October. And now we've got Thanksgiving next Thursday, and the day after is my sweet little princess, who's not little anymore. It's her 16th birthday next Friday. And then, of course, 4 weeks after that, Christmas. It's going to go so fast, but if I can get into podcasting each week for the next few weeks, it'll be a fun run up to the holidays, hopefully. With all of that said, it just leaves me to mention, and I was going to say shop news, I've decided I'll open up my Kiki Boo Bags Etsy store again. I'm going to open that come Monday, and I think I'm going to, what I've already got sewn and what I took out, you know, when I closed the shop down for a few months. So there was some bags that I hadn't sold. I'm going to put those back in, plus a few newer ones and Christmassy fabric. But I'm going to put them, there'll be a nice sale in the shop, which will be for Black Friday. I'm going to have that going on all next week, the week of Thanksgiving. So if you're in the, whatever the word is, if you're looking for Christmas presents for your knitty friends, or if you're looking for stuff for yourself, check out the shop. I'll put it in the notes, and if it's not up here, it'll be in the notes below, the YouTube channel. Kiki Boo Bags on Etsy, and there's other stuff that'll be going in, like stitch markers and place keepers, and you know, the little lobster claw ones. And I've got some other things that I'm going to be working on putting in the shop too, some other different products, for want of a better word. I'll share that with you maybe next week. So for now, I will just show you quickly. I'm not going to talk about them, I'm just going to show you them so you get a quick little glimpse of some of the fabrics I've got going on. That I'll be putting in the shop, putting some back in, and then having to take pictures and everything and load some new ones up. So I've got little, and sunshine. Move around again. Hold on. Oh, oh, shush. That was too good to be true, not barking too much. All right, so I've got different sized notions pouches, little wristlet purses. So these are going to go back in there, different sizes, and they've got little, well, I want to say just little beaded, you know, pulls. And there's some that are obviously Halloween's been and gone, but there's worth picking up now while the sale's on. The little foxies, we've got the houndstooth, and some of the fun Doctor Who fabric I got before, which I put a little, it looks like a little telephone box, so it kind of looks like a TARDIS. That's a beaded pull on there. We've got larger wedges. This was just something I tried a while back, doing some embroidery. So if you're into polka dots, they'll probably be, haven't decided. I don't know if there'll be just a little charm on here now. I'm going to, instead of long zipper pulls, I might be just moving to charms or some other different pull. I've got cute cupcakes, and this is, can't even see it, but this is very sparkly. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, you can't even see there. It's got glittery sparkles on. And then we got sheepsies. And then I've got